This is Cameron again. Hello and welcome to part 1 of a new video series that I'm starting about morality. There is no set limit to the number of entries in this series, and I will be taking your feedback, so let me know if you have any suggestions for how to improve this series. The goal is to get you to think about values that you may have never challenged before through asking a series of thought experiments. With housekeeping out of the way, we can continue to Chapter 1 entitled An Introduction to Morality. This chapter focuses on the foundations of morality and will include more definitions than normal, but I will still include a few thought experiments for you to try out. The first topic we'll go over is what is exactly meant by morality. The common definition for morality is a code of values held by a society, group, or an individual. The values that we hold tell us if a particular action is good or bad. As we're going to be discussing your particular moral system, we will be using morality in the context of referring to an individual's beliefs. If you want to learn more about the cultural and evolutionary basis of morality, I will put a link to resources in the description below. In this video, we'll be looking at two moral systems in particular, those being Kantian and utilitarian moral systems. Kant believed in a rigid moral code where you must do actions that are good when applied to yourself and others as well. The Kantian wouldn't steal if they would not want to be stolen from, and would not kill because they would not want to be killed. On the other hand, utilitarian ethics say that actions should be taken that are of the most good to the greatest number of people. To quote one of my personal heroes, Captain Spock, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few." Now, with a basic understanding of these two moral systems, we will be applying them to some thought experiments. The first question I put up here is it morally permissible to kill someone who has already killed and will most likely kill another person in the future? For the purposes of this thought experiment, the criminal will have a high chance of escaping prison before much of their term is carried out, and that you have to be the one to kill them. It can't be someone else. Some of the things that you may think about is how your actions would affect others, and how you personally would be affected by killing this person. Now would be an excellent time to pause the video and write your reasons for your choice below. Alternatively, you can think about it instead. I will be giving my own answers, but it is extremely okay to think differently than I do. You can pause the video now, and I'll be waiting a couple of seconds for those who are thinking about it to catch up. Welcome back. As many of you could probably tell, I was trying to reconstruct Batman's dilemma of whether or not he should kill the Joker. Many of you more utilitarian types might be wondering why Batman would not kill the Joker when he just escapes from Arkham Asylum over and over again. This is because Batman is more Kantian in his approach and considers killing an immoral act, period. Some other considerations he could be taking into account are how he could go down a bad path and might turn out as bad as the Joker if he could justify killing people. Personally, I'm more on the side of killing the Joker because of all the destruction and devastation that he causes in his wake. If I remember this far gone, you can take me out back as well. Now that we got done with this one, we'll go to one of the most popular thought experiments of the trolley problem. The trolley problem, first created by Philip Foot in 1967 as an interesting moral question, is where a person has to decide to pull a switch to divert a train with brake failure onto a track with a single random person, or do nothing and keep the track moving on the train track and kill 5 people. In the other scenario, I want you to think about this situation where the single person is a family member instead of a random person. Some of the things to think about are how you change the fate of the train by moving it, and basically cheat fate for those 5 people. And also, how it being a family member now changes your possible answer. As before, I'll pause now and wait a couple of seconds. Welcome back again. This one is a bit harder, isn't it? The thought experiments will get progressively harder and, in my opinion, more interesting as we progress further. Some things I thought about when I first took a deep dive on this subject is it's a lot harder than I first thought. It's difficult to think in moral terms, and it often challenges us. In the first situation, I wouldn't want to be the one to cause the death of the one person and change the path of the train. I strongly consider just leaving and not taking responsibility for changing the path of the train, but I would feel responsible if the 5 people died, because I couldn't do anything I could have done something to prevent it. My final verdict is that I will go with the math and save the 5 people with the more utilitarian response. In the other case, where I have the family member in jeopardy, I feel that I have to save the person close to me. I feel that making this what would seem less correct decision is bad, but I just can't do the other choice and let my family member die. This is more of an emotional response, where the other questions previously dealt with more logical thinking. We have emotional connections to those who we're close to and prioritize them over others. Another influencing factor is the theory of inclusive fitness, where we want to preserve our kin's genes. More information on this in the description below. We are done grinding through the difficult moral questions, and now we will go over what to do with your answers. If you don't feel confident in your responses, my biggest piece of advice is to look for more information on the topic and approach this new information with an open mind. Tweaking your beliefs on different topics is great and shows how your ideas develop as your understanding of the topic becomes more complete. Even though we'll never have a complete understanding of a topic, we can get a more complete view of it. As always, learn more and continue to be wonderful people.